You are listening to one of the most prolific podcasts. I'm Caleb.
It's your boy DT.
And I'm Ken.
We are the Mind Report.
Here to push your mind and change your thoughts.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Mind Report podcast. I'm your host, Ken.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm DT.
It's a blessing to be here. Like we always say, we want to start off with abundance of gratitude because it's really a true blessing to be here. We really appreciate everybody for the support, for the love, for the listens, for the views, for the open minds. We really appreciate y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and ask DT, what's the thought of the day?
The thought of the day is going to be the rules of life. Everybody should have a set of rules that they follow in life, and it should be a guideline to guide you in the right direction to go in life. Now, with direction, it comes discipline, and it comes a whole bunch of other things, but you have to be focused on the end result of your life. Now, if you want more positivity, then you know you got to focus on more positivity. But if you want the same negativity, guess what? You got to focus on the same negativity. But it's up to you to decipher how you want your life to go. But these rules kind of put it in a better perspective for you. So one thing that I know, to be happy, you have to stop living with expectations and limitations. When you live with a negative expectation, and you had this negative expectation over time, if you expect something negative gonna come.
Right.
So it's whatever you want, you project it out into the world, and then you're just gonna attract it to you.
Right.
Kind of like you being a magnet. Now with limitations, we all need to get away from limitations, because limitations is basically you just putting a lid upon yourself and what you can potentially do in life.
Right.
So with those two, you have to get away from them. If you don't get away from them, I guarantee you the quality of your life will start to degrade instead of upgrade.
And one thing I know for a fact, when it comes to limitations that you place on yourself is one thing, but also you got to be mindful of the limitations that others place on you as well. Don't live up to what somebody else may see you doing. Don't let what somebody else say that you can't do be what you abide by. Don't let what somebody say they can't see you doing be what you abide by. You go with what you know can happen for you, and you make it happen for you.
Right. I also think it's important for that particular person to focus on the limitations that you're putting on yourself. Focus on what you're telling yourself. A lot of people say the word can't. And I just think that's a dangerous word, because you're already limiting yourself of what you think that you can't do, because you're already saying that you can't do something. So therefore, you're kind of putting a limitation on yourself, because subconsciously you already have that feeling that you can't do it. Right. And therefore you won't get it done. So I just think it's important for people to look internal too when it comes to just expectations and limitations that's set upon them.
And opinions. If you listen to the opinions of others, you would never be happy. It's like you got to cash in on your own internal feeling versus the external feeling that you might be trying to catch from somebody else. Because if you're going to catch some, I'd rather catch the positivity of me talking to myself and telling me, yeah, it's going to go this way, versus me hearing somebody else say, nah, I don't think this is going to work out for you. Because if it's not going to work out for me, let me be the determining factor of it.
Right.
I don't need you to tell me anything, especially if it's not adding to my journey, or it's not going towards wherever my mind needs to be going.
Right.
Because a lot of people can gear your mind in the wrong direction if you let them. So don't nobody drive your car unless it's you, because you the only person that have insurance on your well-being.
Right.
Nobody else does.
Ooh,
Right.
That's a bar.
Hey, and if I wreck it, I want to be the one that wreck it, not nobody else.
Right.
I don't want nobody else at fault for something that's going on in my vehicle.
Exactly.
And my vehicle is my mindset.
Right.
I just feel like the opinions of others, that's none of my business. That has no room to be on my mind like that. It takes up no space in my life, because that's your opinion. And opinion is like feeling. It's not even a fact. So if it's not something that can be proven right or wrong, the next person shouldn't be worried about what goes on in Ken life anyway.
Right.
So you really shouldn't have an opinion on what I'm doing anyway. You should be focused on what you're doing. So I'm not stopping what I'm doing to focus on something that shouldn't even be on your mind in the first place.
Right.
One thing about opinions, they don't last long. It's just like with people, I wouldn't be focused on what someone could potentially think about what I'm doing when they may not be around.
Right.
So why even dwell on what they think about you when you need to be, worried about yourself? I get it. 100%.
Opinions come with expiration dates. It's up to you to keep it.
I'm throwing that motherfucker away.
Yeah. Like, yeah, this bad. It say it expired around this time.
Right.
So I'm going to just go and discard that. I'm going to throw that in the garbage.
Right.
And that's what you should do.
Yeah.
A lot of the opinions and expectations you have of people, you need to look at the expiration date on it. Don't let that remain around if it's spoiled. Because if it's something spoiled, it don't taste good.
Right.
And if it don't taste good, guess what? You need to spit it out.
Yeah.
Spit it out and get rid of it.
Right.
But you must be able to cheer yourself up, because self-talk is going to be the thing that you hear the most within yourself. How are you actually verbalizing the things in your life that you want? Is it in a good light or is it in a bad light? If it's in a negative light, you definitely need to be able to switch it around versus keeping it around. Because if it's negative, by default, your results going to be negative because of how you talking to yourself. And the most important person that's talking to you right now is yourself. 90% of the day, you talking to yourself. Not to be on any crazy stuff, but 90% of the day, you actually talking to yourself. Right. So how are you talking to yourself? Right. You know how that saying go, talk nice to me. You need to be talking nice to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't let anything disrupt your positive self-talk. Because there's going to be a lot of things that come on throughout the day, but you have to be able to switch it around, because it's the only thing that you have control over. Your thoughts, your actions, and then your words.
Right.
So you need to be real mindful of how you use all three.
Those thoughts, actions, and words all lead up to feelings.
Right.
Feelings is very, very vital and very, very important. Everything is about what you feel you can do. If you're already telling yourself that you can't do something, then you can't do it. I've said this plenty of times before, but anything you do in life, you want to feel good no matter what it is.
Right.
And I feel like it's very important for people just to look internal too. But one thing I can tell you, if you can see it for yourself, if you can see it in your mind, it's possible. You just really have to make a way and believe in yourself.
I'm going to tell y'all, like with me, when it comes to self-talk, I would say I get real cocky when I talk to myself. Because sometimes that pushes me. Like when I have talks to myself, it's like, Cam, bro, you too good for that basic shit. You know what I'm saying? And that motivate me not to settle for whatever I was finna settle for. And also, a lot of times when I talk to myself, sometimes I go through things with other personalities, other people. You know, you got them people at work or in the world that'll try you. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes talking yourself off the ledge be necessary.
Oh, yeah.
Like sometimes you got to tell yourself like, okay, bro, I got too much going on to engage in that kind of activity.
But that's your intuition, though. And
right.
That's the better version of you.
Right.
And that's something that everybody has installed inside of them.
And then like a lot of times people say you got to be humble and all this other shit, bro. I encourage everybody that be around me to talk their shit, bro. Because sometimes that's what it take to get people to the next level. Sometimes people subdue their energy for the benefit of the people around them, and that's not how it's supposed to be. The people around you should support you in whatever it is you got going on. So if I feel good in this moment and I want to cheer myself on and express it verbally, everybody around me gonna have to get to that level, and everybody around me should be on that level with themselves as well.
Right.
And I think that also comes with understanding yourself. You have to be self-aware in order to like make it in life. A person shouldn't be able to come up to me and be like, Ken, you lacking XYZ, or you do good in XYZ, without me like already knowing.
Right.
Like when you come to me telling me about me, my answer to you should be duh.
Yeah.
Like you telling me something I already knew. And when you aware of yourself, you move a lot different. I already know what I got to work on. I'm aware of my weaknesses. You know, you can't tell me what I already know because I already know it. So when it comes to growing, like I'm already there. I know I lack in this. I know I lack in that. I know I got my strengths in this. I got my strengths in that. You can't put me onto no game I ain't already on when it comes to self, because I'm already aware of that.
Right. Well, I know with you being able to understand yourself, you really got to ask yourself like some real vital questions to get you to the next step. Where do I possibly want to be at in the next 2 to 5 years? How do I see myself? Where am I actually going? What do I really want my future to look like? And these are a lot of questions that you really need to be asking yourself like on a day-to-day basis, because if you ask yourself this on a day-to-day basis, it's kind of like you keeping yourself in line of your goals or wherever it is that you want to go, but you have to be able to know self. And I think Ken said this a few episodes ago. A lot of people had a fear of actually being in silence with themselves, because when you're in silence with yourself, which means you got to get closer to yourself. Right. And I would listen to, I think this podcast, I think it was Rob Dow, but he had said they had did an experiment with people and they had the choice to be with themselves for 10 days or use social media, you won't guess the percentage of people who actually wanted to be on social media versus with themselves. So you would rather indulge in other people's life than to actually take some type of grip on your life. When you're in out this whole little aura with yourself, you find out a lot of things about yourself that you really did not know at first.
Right.
Because now you have to sit your ass down and actually pay attention to what's going on in your life. Yeah.
Right.
I'm not talking any no trash about the pandemic, but I think that was the greatest part about the pandemic because a lot of people lost their jobs. But then at the end of the day, they had to sit and reassess their lives. And once you reassess your life, then you can move forward to the better step in your life.
Right.
But if you never had that little hiccup in your life, guess what? You'll still be going, not drinking any water. So you have to be able to come in grips with yourself and get in alignment with the things that you want. And whenever you find yourself out of line, you need to talk to yourself and get yourself back in line.
Right. I mean, it's important talking to yourself. That's how you just check your well-being and your mental. You know, just like DT said, just making sure that you stay on track of your goals. Sometimes it's easy to get distracted, and mentally you got to check yourself. You got to check the inventory, making sure, you know, okay, is this going to help me? Is it going to benefit me? What type of position is going to put me in? And so you just got to make sure every step is benefiting you so that you can climb up the ladder.
And awareness come with decisions, and decisions come with results. It's like a domino effect. If you don't have one or the other, then you start off with awareness. But if you're not aware, how can you make a sound decision? And if you can't make a sound decision, how can you get the type of results that you want in life? So you have to have all three in order to prepare yourself to the next level. And if you don't, then basically you just repelling yourself from the results that you want.
And also an important part about that is like to add to what DT said, when you ask yourself vital questions, you got to be able to give yourself a legitimately, authentically, like, can't get no real answer with yourself. Because that's, like I done said in the episode before, I lie to somebody else before I lie to myself. So when it comes to answering certain questions about life, you got to be real with yourself. Like you say you want $1 million, but bro, be for real. Your actions ain't, you really don't want $1 million.
You moving real minimum wage right now.
You really don't want $1 million. You know what I'm saying? You say you want this and that, but the way you moving, like, bro, if you be real with yourself, that's really not what it is. So when it comes to asking yourself vital questions and you giving yourself like real answers, that makes you, it molds you and it shows you, okay, I'm lacking in this, let me pick up this. Not doing this, let me do this. I'm weak in this, let me get this better so I could be better with this.
And one of the things that I ask myself whenever I come across fear is, do I want to die with this? If my answer is no, then I know I need to expand myself instead of contracting to the same being that I was. But you got to ask yourself those hard questions. And I think the hardest conversation that you will ever have is with yourself. Because now you're trying to get some type of understanding with yourself. If you don't have no type of understanding with yourself, then you damn sure ain't going to have no understanding with the world. And one thing about understanding the world, you have to read between the lines. There's going to be a lot of bullshit that comes with the world. But you have to be able to read between it and don't fall for what the majority do. You need to basically create your own path and everybody else will follow you. You don't need to be a follower of a system that already doesn't work. Because if it doesn't work, why are you even following it? If it doesn't, then you need to basically realign yourself and get out of the trappings of this hamster wheel. Because if you keep running in the circle. I think Caleb had said this one of the episodes of Hula Hoop. You're going to keep running into the same bullshit. You got to get out that hula hoop. We are not kids anymore. Get out that hula hoop.
I'm going to say with that, just hopping into the world, you just got to really just have a plan to execute it. Just really just writing down your goals and just really sticking to it. But if you want to be extra and want to do and want to receive extra, you have to understand that what's in front of you ain't going to put you in a different position unless you do something about it. A lot of people just say, hey, I want to wait until the perfect time is right. But sometimes that perfect time can never come until you act on it. And sometimes you have to act on certain things in order for it to happen dramatically and instantly, you know, and sometimes God will throw it right there in front of your face, but you'll still be, you be blind. You won't even see it. And then you ask why it didn't happen. Well, God, hey, God will say, I tried to give you an opportunity, but you passed it over just because of you waiting. You're not taking action. When you take action, he'll provide everything.
Yep.
You'll provide everything. Because all that energy will go out to what you're currently trying to accomplish. And then you'll start meeting people. And then just everything will just go in your way. Everything will go in the flow of the direction that you are putting your energy towards.
When it comes to understanding the world, I would say a lot of stuff makes sense when you just sit back and legitimately think about it. Like the stuff we be told in school, when you sit back and think about it, you'll be like, damn, but that don't make sense. Like the way people move, when you sit back and you pay attention, you like really pay attention to it and think about it, like you be like, damn, but it really don't make sense. Like, for example, jobs. If you want to be a millionaire, like, and you sit back and you look at what the masses are doing, like, it'll click, like, bro, this ain't what's gonna get me there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll really click. So I would say, like, when it comes to understanding the world, you really just gotta pay attention and be able to, like, critically think about really what's going on and really make the shit make sense, dog. Right. Because 9 times out of 10, if it don't make, if everybody's supposed to be on the same, doing the same thing, and everybody not getting it all, something wrong.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people want to be further ahead in life than what they are. But it's like everybody, them same group of people take the same steps and they never get there. So if I'm paying attention and I see that they taking the same steps and never get there, why the fuck would I take the same steps that they taking?
Right.
I would say with understanding the world, bro, you really just gotta like use your brain. That's what it's there for, to think with.
But with understanding of the world, that basically come with you, like Ken said, you got to be real observant, right, and don't just act just to be act, but you have to actually sit back and peep game. Right. If you can sit back and peep game, then you will never play the game the same. I guarantee you, because you will start to try to find alternatives to the plays that's already being called. Right. Now they always say don't reinvent the wheel. I think that's a bunch of crap. Especially when it comes to your life. Right. If you see the wheel not working, why would I stay in this same cycle that my parents did, they parents did, and they parents did? Because one thing about legacy, it's not about what you leave for them, it's what you leave in them. Mm-hmm. So if we talking about legacy, you have to be the one that actually be that generational breaker and actually set a mold for the new generation that's coming, instead of playing this same game that everybody plays. Don't nobody need to be playing the same game if the game is not to win. Right. Like, we a bunch of winners. There's no losers over here. Right. So we have to be able to put ourselves in the game and call the right plays instead of the wrong plays in order to win this game called life.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you play in the game called life, can't be afraid to make mistakes. You know, a lot of people are going to make mistakes in it. And those are the times that you learn from it. You learn from and just go about it in a different direction. Everybody have to learn. There's all comes a time where we all gonna fuck up. Right. I can't give you no real.
Just came straight out.
Right.
No holding back.
Yeah. I tried to, but goddamn, no. We all gonna fuck up eventually, you know, but it's just how you take it in. Sometimes it happens, and certain things happen for a reason. And sometimes when you're taking certain lessons in, you always got to keep in the back of your mind, how could it always been worse? You know, it could have been worse. You know, I'm thankful. At the end of the day, if something didn't go my way, I'm always thankful because, damn, it could have been worse. And I'm just glad it didn't end that way. But now I got to deal with this. We're going to get over this. And it's just something that I have to overcome. Mm-hmm. And just going at life at a different direction, just overcome it. So just don't be afraid of making mistakes. You're not going to be perfect. Anything that you go into, you're going to mess up somewhere. We human. It's just how you take it in and what you do about it.
Right. I would say with me, it's all in how you look at it. And the way when it comes to mistakes, the way I look at it is, I don't make mistakes. Mistakes make me. Like the mistakes that happen.
Nah, that was a bar.
Yeah. The mistakes that happen in life only molds you to become the better version of you. Because if I make a mistake and I make the wrong turn, then I know when I come back to this same corner, not to turn that way again. Right. So it's molding me to become successful in life at whatever it is I need to be successful at. You know, that's the positive way of looking at things. Like a lot of times people, they make mistakes, and when they make mistakes, they use it for like the worst of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. They use it to like as an excuse as why they can't, you know, do whatever it is they want to do, or why they want to stop doing it, or why the timing ain't perfect right now. I don't make mistakes. The mistakes make me. And so when I'm going through stuff, I look for the mistakes, because in order for me to be molded and made, I need to have them. You know what I'm saying? So the mistakes be making me.
Yeah.
And to succeed in anything, you have to be able to make some type of mistakes. If you don't make no mistakes, that means you haven't even tried.
Yeah.
And if you haven't tried, how can you ever succeed?
Right.
So mistakes is a very vital part of success in anything that you want to do. You have to be able to start out bad at first and turn that bad into good over time with little small mistakes or even big mistakes. The biggest mistakes make the biggest lessons.
Yeah.
That's if you're willing to take a lesson from it.
Right.
But if you being stubborn with the lesson or you never even wanted to try it, then you'll never know how far you can actually go.
Right.
And I think I had read a quote and it said, focus on how far you came, not how far you had to go. So if you focus on that and everything in between should fall in line.
Right.
So yeah, I'd have made some mistakes, but my ratio of winning is 100% because everything that you'd have been through, you done got through. And if you got through it, that means you grew through it.
Yeah.
So you have to keep going. And no matter what kind of mistakes that you have going on in life, it's not a mistake. I call it elevation.
Mm-hmm.
Cause you elevating from the level that you just was at. Like Caleb always say about video games, you get to the next level.
Yeah.
There is no other way for you to get to the next level than actually playing.
Right.
And if you don't play, then you ain't gonna ever get to the next level.
No.
It's a dub.
And I think in order with any type of success or anywhere that you at in life right now, you have to. In order to have more, you must give more. So you have to be a contribution to this world that we live in. And I think I had said this before about the richest place in the world, which is the graveyard.
Right.
A lot of people didn't give more, so which in order, in turn, they didn't have more. Yeah. And I know for God, we supposed to have an abundant world. You're not supposed to operate out of scarcity. So if you want abundant life, then you have to be able to give more, because the more you give, not expecting anything to come back to you, but you will have more coming back to you because of the things that you did give while you was here. Right. And I always tell people, if I talk to anybody, and I know my guys, they know me best, you always give more value than you receive.
Right.
Because in turn, the value that you receive, it goes out more. Because you just gave more value, whether it be on the phone or in person with somebody, that thing that you said or that lesson that you probably gave them about your past experience, it can actually help mold somebody else to move them in the right direction. So you the compass between them and their situation or their experiences that they might have. Right. So you always have to find yourself giving more value in order to multiply more value out to more people.
I always do good deeds. Reason being is because, like when you be polite and like DT said, when you leave a mark on this world, a positive mark, it's the law of attraction. You putting out positivity, that's what you gonna get back. It's a law. And not only with other people, but also with like yourself. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to like your goals and what you see yourself having in the next 5 to 10 years. Like when you give more time, give more attention, give more focus, when you give more energy to what it is you want, you're going to eventually have more of that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm studying right now to be one of the best traders in Jacksonville. In order for me to get there, I have to give more of my time and my effort and my energy to my skill set that I'm learning in order for me to have more and possess more out of life.
Right. Me showing an impact in someone's life, it definitely does just do something to you. Just me, just knowing that I impacted you in a positive way. Right. It just is bigger than me and that person. Another step though that's important for the rules of life is to be able to understand more and to be open to learning. A lot of older people a lot of people in general just have a closed mindset just because of what they're trained to do, what they see happen in their household, or just how school is in general. And I just think that everybody got to come to a point where you got to be open to get better and to be out your current situation. It has to come to a point where you have to start opening your mind and say, okay, I got to go a different route. I got to understand more. I got to just expand my knowledge, because what I know right now ain't working for me with accountability. And a lot of people got to hold themselves accountable if they want to get themselves out. Just how the example that you gave earlier, when you were just saying that if you don't do anything, nothing's going to come to you. So you got to be aware of your situation. You got to be held accountable so that you can know where you're currently at.
Right. when it comes to being more open, you got to understand that there's more than one way of looking at things. When you close-minded, I feel like that's basically what you saying. Like, it's finna go this way, or this is what this person meant, and that's what it is. And you got to understand that it's not your way or the highway. It's more than one perspective. It's more than one ways things can look. It's more than one ways of things happening. When you're closed-minded, you really be in your own way. So in order to understand more, you got to be more open-minded. And it's the same with life and like success. Like, you got to understand certain shit, certain principles to life in order for you to, like, you know, get more and like have more life.
Yeah, definitely.
But you have to be open-minded. If you didn't take nothing from what they said, you have to be open-minded in order to learn more about life. And life is going to be your biggest teacher, but you just have to be willing to be a student of life and actually be open to learn. If you're not open to learn, then you're not going to gain anything from life. Once you find yourself being closed-minded, you might as well close your potential in your account. And your account is the things that you take in daily. And we're not just talking about money or whatever the case might be, but you have an account. You have an account of love, hope, faith, a whole bunch of other things, and then money is one of them. But if you block yourself off, then you can never look for a return on your investment, because you never invested in your self-education as far as being open to learning. Like I said, with everything that was being said, there are these guidelines that we just gave each and every last one of you all. But you have to start being accountable for how you take and utilize these rules in life, because life only get greater when you have this discipline with yourself. If you are undisciplined, how well do you think or expect life to go? Set some type of rules for yourself and keep yourself accountable of the rules of life that you actually play with or play by. Hopefully we added some type of value to your mind so you can go out there and check your thoughts. I'm your host, DT.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Ken.
And follow us on Instagram at The Mind Report, and also stream us however you want at www.themindreportpodcast.com. And we are The Mind Report, and we are out.
If you enjoyed this podcast episode, make sure you share it with someone else.
And be on the lookout for new episodes. And make sure you subscribe now.
This is The Mind Report.
And we are out.